You might be correct there, Steve. It is 6 o'clock.
Good evening. Is that a good Alfred Hitchcock? I'm trying.
No. It's horrible.
Well, it's good to me.
If you say so.
Been watching a lot of that lately.
Alfred Hitchcock?
Oh, yeah.
I see.
Alfred Hitchcock and Star Trek Voyager.
I see. All right. Are we ready to begin here, Steve?
Begin the show?
Like start the show, you know?
Yeah.
I agree. But I'm going to do it anyway.
All right.
This is the Fortean Slip, episode 64, Bigfoot Hoaxer Returns. We have been blessed in such a way. Not only did we get the fucking scoop on this, Steve.
We did?
Yes, prior.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
Because not only do we have now Bigfoot expert 3 times over.
Oh, at least.
He is now the Bigfoot psychic.
I heard that he's also the consultant for Bigfoot affairs to the White House. That's what I've heard.
People are saying?
That's what they're saying.
Yeah. Yes. How many weeks ago was this now that he said this on the program, Steve?
Said what?
The Bigfoot psychic, Matt.
Oh, the Bigfoot psychic, Matt Knapp. Couple weeks. He's been on the show, 3 or 4 times recently?
Yeah. And he predicted.
He did?
The Rick Dyer return.
Rick Dyer.
How could we have not been blessed with this man's presence in the fucking Bigfoot world? I mean, he's brought us such great hoaxes as Bigfoot in a freezer.
Oh, yes. Rick Dyer, yes.
Yes. Stuffed animal in a trailer.
Oh, that was a good one. It was in an RV, wasn't it?
And now, according to the man himself, a situation he came out and said was a complete bag of bullshit is now supposedly the real thing, Steve.
No longer bullshit?
It's no longer bullshit, I guess.
Come on, Rick. What are you doing?
I mean, if he wanted to release some amazing things, he could release some video of his trip to fucking Thailand.
Oh, yeah, that would be good.
That would be way better than any fucking Bigfoot video we could see.
His sexcapade in Thailand. That would be awesome.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we've all heard about it.
I've heard about it, yes. For those viewers who don't know who Rick Dyer is, okay, all one of you. 2008 was his first hoax, right? It made it on CNN and all that shit. He had a press conference.
I don't know the exact year, but
2008.
Yes. And then again in 2012, which I was sort of instrumental in that one, helping bust that hoax. And then now again in 2000, whatever it is, 19,
Steve.
Yeah.
It's all going to be revealed.
But Matt has said a couple shows back, there's one more hoax coming from Rick Dyer.
And
now Rick Dyer has announced that he's got some new Bigfoot evidence. That's old Bigfoot evidence. Whoa.
Fucking Bigfoot psychic. That was the ding was just Matt got his wings.
That was it. I got my Bigfoot halo.
So, I mean, we all knew ultimately that this guy couldn't stay quiet. I mean, it was bound to happen again. I think my only curiosity at this point is what the fuck is he going to say this time?
That he really does have a dead Bigfoot body. What do you mean? What is he going to say?
No,
like his MO?
No. I mean, like the whole story arc, Matt.
But you have to pay attention to his words, okay? He said Bigfoot will be revealed to the world in like September 6th or whatever.
Whatever the date is.
Now, keep in mind, he's also said that Bigfoot is complete bullshit and does not exist.
Yes.
So he doesn't have to actually reveal anything.
Right.
To go by his rules that he plays by.
Right.
Or he could just have worked it out with the production company that did the documentary he was in and gotten their Bigfoot suit. And he's going to reveal that to the world on September 6th. What he won't reveal is the actual dead body of a Bigfoot.
No. No, because we'd already know about that if that happened.
Right.
You got to admire his determination. I mean, it's crazy.
And listen, like I said on Richard and Phil's Squatchable podcast last night, which if you haven't checked it out, go to youtube.com/parabreakdown. Is that the one thing that the guy does bring is interest. Whether or not he's full of shit, which we all know that he is. The interesting thing is he brings interest to the subject. And is it a positive way to do it? Absolutely not. But he does bring this renewed interest. Like we've said it many times. Anytime we post anything about Rick Dyer, it fucking explodes.
Oh yeah.
Right.
And it's baffling. It's not baffling really, but it is, because we've all seen this before. And like we're all just like deer in the headlights, or we're like fucking rubbernecking on the highway. That's basically what's happening every time this son of a bitch shows up. And
I mean, he does run to the media, send them letters, makes phone calls, gets his name out there as much as possible. And he's really good at marketing himself. Okay. He brings in, interested people that aren't in the Bigfoot world, because they buy into what he's selling. Like, oh, well, what if this guy is telling the truth? And then he takes all their money and rips them off and leaves them in bewildered. And then after he disappears, there's like a couple hundred new Bigfoot people in the Bigfoot world, looking around going, what the fuck just happened?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you're saying that Rick Dyer is good for the Bigfoot
He's
community.
kind of like a recruiter that really sucks. He's like a military recruiter, like makes a bunch of promises, get you hooked, get you in there, sign the contract, and then you don't actually get any of the money.
Or do what they told you were going to do.
Yeah. Oh, those jobs are all taken. All we have for you is frontline target.
Yeah. All we have for you is cannon fodder. This is what you get. But we were discussing like the idea of, how much should we give, this son of a bitch for time? How much should we exacerbate his own quote unquote celebrity, if you will? Because every time he comes out, of course we want to touch on it. Yeah, in a familiar fashion, Steve. We want to touch on it because it is in the realm of what we discuss, what we talk about. My question is, how much credence should we give to it? Like, and the opposite argument was, that people need to know. And I agree. There are new people out there who need to know about this guy. But I just question like how much we should give him. And, whether or not
he's going to get attention no matter whether we give it to him or not.
Absolutely.
So I think it's a bad argument that, you shouldn't give this guy the time of day. Well, he's going to get that attention from somewhere, whether we give it to him or not,
Yeah.
Because he's good at, like you said, he's good at marketing himself. He's good at getting the media to follow him, even though, and I think he understands very well that he has to take several years off in between these things, because if he doesn't, the media wouldn't give him that attention anymore, because they'd realize, hey, wait, didn't we just do a story on this guy a year ago? That kind of thing. So he knows what he's doing. So, and I think he's a genius. He's an idiot. He's an asshole, but he's a genius. as far as marketing his,
he's not a genius. It doesn't take a genius to like write a letter or an email to, you know, a public press release and have it picked up on the news wire. Like anybody can do that.
right, yes, but how many
Like
of those?
if you wanted to, you could start calling local news agencies. You could write letters. You could go type up your own press release that you sold something on Amazon today,
Right.
and it would still get put out through the same channels that his does. He
But
just
how many of
keeps
those?
doing it.
Yeah, but how many of those would get picked up by national media attention? None. None of
Well,
them.
none, because they're not about somebody shooting a Bigfoot. They, you know, there's that campy like story, you know, to fill between the real news stories.
A viewer asks, and I'm not looking at the chat. A viewer that says, "Why enable him by giving him more attention? Because he's getting that attention anyway. You're not enabling Rick Dyer. Rick Dyer is going to enable himself no matter what. You know, he'll if you don't give the attention to him, somebody else will."
Well, I mean, some people feel obligated to, you know, Bigfoot researchers, which I hate that phrase, but it is what it is. A lot of them feel obligated to warn, you know, newcomers, hey, this guy's bad and he's a liar. Don't believe him.
Right.
They feel that by him getting that top billing in the news stories, whenever it comes to Bigfoot news, he's discrediting the community. And yeah, I have to laugh at that because, you know, how can you get any more discredited? But that's how they feel. They take it very seriously. You know, they're all playing scientists out there, and you know, they like to pretend that they're important and that they're, you know, legit. The public does not see it that way, regardless. That includes the media, but you know, they still feel that they have to defend their passion and their, you know, hobbies against this guy.
Right.
And then there's people out there who, like Chris said, every time you post something, it gets views.
Yep.
And that's how some people make their money.
Yep. I have to admit, back in the, you know, when I was, you know, trying to inform the people, some of that was for views. Of course it was, you know, on YouTube and hits on YouTube, because Rick Dyer was the hot news at the time. And he's in September, he probably will be again. Now, obviously, I don't do that YouTube channel anymore. But if I were still doing it, you better believe I'm going to report on that shit, you know? And it's because I want to build the YouTube channel, or I want to build my Facebook group, or whatever it is I was doing at the time, you know?
And you know, we used to be very guilty of doing the same exact type of stuff. You know, which was why I changed the way I put the shows on YouTube now. Like, I don't try to put a clickbaity title. I put the same picture every time for the show. It's a show picture. I don't try to find a picture of a Bigfoot or a UFO or whatever to go with the show. I just post the show artwork and the Fortean Slip episode, whatever, and the name of the episode. And the reason I did that was to get away from that clickbaity shit.
But that shit is how you make money.
It is how you make money.
People will hate it and they'll still click on it. They know what's coming and they still click on it.
Yep.
But I guess it just kind of gives me it's a way for me to keep my own sanity, I guess, with it.
Makes you feel all warm and fuzzy inside.
Yeah, like
right thing.
Yeah, I mean, and don't get me wrong, like there are times when I put things in the title that I'm trying to get people to watch it. Yeah, but I'm not doing the same type of clickbaity shit that I used to do. And you know, yeah, has the views on the show suffered? Yeah, but I'm not. I mean, ultimately, like, I get the people that want to listen to the show, and yeah, I get some other stragglers here and there and whatnot, but at least I feel like the way that the show is growing is organically. You know,
it's growing based on its content.
Right.
Yes.
And if that's slow, so be it. You know, we've had this discussion before. You know,
Right.
would I love for this thing to be popular? Absolutely. Like, who wouldn't? You know, who wouldn't want to have a popular YouTube channel and make money off of it? Like, of course.
Well, go ahead.
But however, you know, I'd rather do something that I enjoy and keep putting it out and not feel like a complete piece of shit rather than try to just dupe everybody along the way.
Yeah. But there is a place for that stuff too. I mean, and if you have no problems doing that, I don't see an issue with it either. I mean, like Matt says, it gets viewers. I mean, and when I was doing it for a long time, clickbaity titles on purpose.
We've all done it.
Now, did my content match the title? 99% of the time, absolutely, it matched the title. But I did it in such a way to draw viewers in, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm saying that's how Rick Dyer gets his attention. He is clickbait. I mean, you know, whenever he was touring around his dead Gimli Bigfoot body or whatever, like he was making 10,000 plus a day setting up in a parking lot with a trailer. Meldrum's never made that kind of money on an appearance about Bigfoot, and he's an accredited scientist. Nobody gives a shit about the research aspect of Bigfoot. No, they care about the showbiz, you know, the sparkling lights, and come see the dead Bigfoot body right here.
Yeah, like, the fantastical. He's a fucking carnival barker,
right?
And I've said that about him for a long time.
I did a video a long time ago on my channel. It's probably still on there, my old channel, and it was about Rick Dyer's The Circus, and I had circus music in the because that's what it is, and he understands that's what it is. He knows 100% what he's doing is circus like, and that's why he attracts that attention.
Yeah, and for the record, as far as I'm concerned, I don't think he's going to stop until he's dead.
Why should he?
Like I think, you know, he'll come out, he'll do whatever he's going to do this year. He'll take his, you know, sweet ass time waiting for the next time, and he'll do it again.
He'll take this one as far as he can possibly take it.
Oh, absolutely.
And when the shit hits the fan eventually, because it always does, he'll stop and, you know, go back to selling cars for a while or whatever he does, you know, and wait another 4 or 5 years.
See, I used to get so mad at him.
So did I.
Especially that first go around. But now I don't care. I think everybody who does get mad at him is kind of out of line. Like I said, the guy thinks this is all a joke. He doesn't think Bigfoot exists. He's just a carnival guy. That's it. I mean, he doesn't have the tent, or, you know, he's not set up at the fair.
Well, I mean, what authority does anybody have to say anything to him anyway? Like, most of the people that are in the quote unquote Bigfoot community, Bigfoot research community, whatever the fuck you want to call it, most of them are fucking believing in fantastical shit, crazy shit. I mean, so how are they any different from him?
That's what I was going to say. I mean, I got to the point in the Bigfoot research shit where I thought they might as well all be Rick Dyer. They might not be doing it to his extent, but they're putting out the same kind of bullshit. You know, most of them. Yeah. Trees with circles around them. Oh, there's a Bigfoot stump. You know, that kind of thing. I mean, what's the difference? There isn't.
We've got people who believe that Bigfoot fucking can become invisible at will. We have people that believe that they're extra dimensional creatures. That it runs the gamut.
Mm-hmm. Well, nobody was outraged whenever the Barnum and Bailey Circus was parading around a unicorn. I remember that as a kid. Everybody, and like, that was like a goat with a horn growing out of its head or something.
Because there's no unicorn research community. That's why.
Well, I bet there is. I beg to differ, Steve. But I'm just saying, like, you go to the fair and you can see, like, see the giant spider with a woman's head, or see the snake woman, or this and that, and nobody is out there like, oh, this is fake, don't waste your money on this, like, we need to shut these guys down, they're evil. And it's the same thing that Rick is doing.
Yep, exact same. And I'm not defending the guy at all. I mean,
I am. I'm going to be that guy. If you're dumb enough to think that the guy shot a Bigfoot behind Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever it was in San Antonio, Texas, and has somehow held onto the body this whole time, even though he's told you multiple times it's bullshit, if you want to spend your money on that, that's your problem.
What's that fool me once? It's a joke. And most of this is a joke. And that's one of the things we've said for a long time, is that the research is a joke. The community, for the most part, is a joke. Now, are there people out there doing good things? Yes. I do believe there are people who are out there trying to do good things. I think that a lot of those people get pushed out.
I agree with that.
They get sick of it.
That and science is boring to people who want to believe in fantastical things.
Mm-hmm.
Real science.
Real science is boring.
Yeah.
Unless you're a scientist,
And
but
I think
on the same token, if you're out there doing the real science and you did somehow make a huge discovery that the accredited scientific world took interest in, do you think they would give a shit about your data? They just throw it in the trash and collect their own. They're accredited scientists. That's what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can make a citizen's arrest, but what happens when the cops get there?
Right. Same type of idea. And it just, to me, it's, we talk about this guy, and not just us, like the people across, the community, they talk about this guy like he's way out of line. And it's like, yeah, but there's tons of people in this community that are way out of line.
Yeah.
And
Dyer has crossed the line a few times. Some of the things he said about certain people is crossing the line. But as far as his circus act goes, no, that doesn't cross the line. It's just same old.
Yeah, and it is. It's like a fucking carnival.
Okay, but once again, in those situations, I agree. Dyer has jumped over the line, not just crossed it.
Oh, yeah.
But how many times has Dyer just randomly gone after somebody that wasn't doing or saying anything about him?
No, he never, as far as I know, he's never just picked a random name and said, I'm going to mess with this guy. He waits until somebody said, now, he's gone after me a couple of times back.
You're a weasel.
Oh, I'm a weasel. Yeah. And it's because I went after him first.
All right.
Who I was, he wouldn't have cared. Now, did he jump the line with me? No, not really, because he couldn't find shit. And if he made it up, that I would debunk it real quick.
But also keep in mind what he's trying to do with all this. The whole point of all of it is he's trying to make money. So whenever you point out this is bullshit, Rick's lying, here's the proof, that's messing with his money.
It does, but it also brings more attention to him, and he's very good at making it look like you're the bad guy and just picking on him. So that now brings more attention to him, and his defenders will defend the fuck out of him. At least they did back in the day. I don't know if he's got many more right now, but
he will.
He'll bring new people in. He'll bring people who we have no idea who they are. They're brand new into the community,
and he'll go and get the weak-minded that he had the last time around.
Yep. Oh yeah.
And hook them back into it.
Yeah.
He's charismatic. He's very charismatic.
Yeah. He knows how to talk to people. He knows how to get them on his side. And we've seen it many times before. That's why I say, how out of line is he really?
Well, to be honest with you, nobody's ever really quote unquote debunked the tent video. We've all got our opinions about it. We all know it's fake, but we can't say how he did it, right?
He's debunked it to me.
To you personally, maybe. Well, and how did he debunk it? He just said
It was a costume that belonged to the production company.
Oh, see, I didn't know that part. But we can't prove that.
Well, no, I can't prove it.
Rick Dyer said
He just said it to me on the phone. So
it.
either I'm lying or he's lying. Let's our track record speak for us.
Right.
But he also knows that unless somebody can produce that costume, he can go tomorrow and say, "Nah, I was just messing with Matt Knapp," that kind of thing, and then his followers will still follow and still believe him. And he knows that. He knows you cannot prove a negative.
I mean, look at how many people just blindly follow Matthew Johnson.
God almighty.
That in and of itself.
Matthew Johnson, though, is dangerous. Rick Dyer is probably not dangerous. He's just an idiot,
But, that's why I say, how, is he really that far out of line with what he does or what he's done or what he's going to do? Like, yeah, does he take things a little far sometimes? Yeah. But do I think that he's gone more over the line than anybody else? There's so many people that have tried to friggin' hoax bullshit.
Oh, yeah.
He's not the only one.
He's just the best one at it.
We could go, but we could go back through the friggin' videos that we know are bullshit. Over the years that have come out that we've seen, and almost, a good percentage of them were proven to be friggin' bullshit. But you don't hear anything about those people. Like you said, he's the best one at it. He's the one that he's out there. He's got his name up there. He wants it in lights, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
And that it's just very odd that we sit in this group of people, and a big percentage of this group of people does the same fucking bullshit. Because so what do we do? That's my question. What do we do about it?
Nothing.
Right.
Enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
So
enjoy the ride or get off, one or the other.
I'm kind of looking forward to September just to see what kind of shit he's going to pull this time.
Yeah, and should he be called out? We're calling him the fuck out.
We've been calling him out since 2008.
I mean,
a decade ago. It doesn't do any good. It does. Look, I learned my lesson recently. I used to go after hoaxers in the Bigfoot world and expose them. I've done it a lot. Steve used to do it a lot too. But now we have reached a time where if you expose a hoaxer, you're the bad guy. You get attacked.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how much proof you put out there. The people that want it to be true are going to defend it, and they're going to stick by them. You've still got people to this day. I read something the other day. A lady posted on the internet that she doesn't care what these special effects people say. Jeff Meldrum and Les Stroud worked with Todd Standing, and she trusts them a lot more than she trusts people in the movie industry. So she believes Todd Standing's legit.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You can have the smoking gun, and it doesn't matter.
Right.
Doesn't matter. You could even get Todd Standing to admit that he's a hoaxer. And Rick Dyer has done it, admitted. And it
recently.
Doesn't matter. So, and when I realized that a few years back, I'm like, why am I doing this? Why?
Waste of time.
It's a waste of time. Yeah. Should people know that these people are potential hoaxers or hoaxers? Yeah. But I'm not going to be the guy to tell you anymore. because first of all, it's a lot of suffering on my end, because I have to now deal with the people who want to defend these people. And second of all, you're not going to believe me anyway. I'm preaching to the choir. That's it.
Yeah, and
So
there's no real payoff to it, and not that there should be. I mean, not that not that there should be like a big fucking fanfare for you if you call out a hoaxer, like because
there is.
the pretty much there's just so many of them. Like Christ, you could fucking throw a rock and hit one. But you're right. It just gets taxing every fucking time you do it.
So now I'm just going to sit back and relax and enjoy the show, And if Rick Dyer puts on a good show, I'll watch it. That's it. I don't care.
Yeah.
And I've had folks where people like show me proof that something's bullshit, but it shocked me, or oh man, they had me. So if you don't have the ability to turn bullshit on your own, that's
and
you're breaking up a little.
Yeah, Matt is breaking up a little bit, but we get most of what he said came across, so we could tell what he was saying. But it gets to a point with some things. Like, how many times can you tell people over and over and over? That's the problem that I have with it. Like, we there's only so many times we can say it. There's only so many times we can say that we don't believe in this, or that we think that this is a hoax, or whatnot. And that's the thing that's hilarious to me. Like, when we went over the whole the tree thing, was I said I didn't believe what Lori had to say, and I didn't buy into it, but that I disagreed with what had happened, how it had gone down. And that's it. And we made the argument that, people who are in the know that this is not something to believe in. Mm-hmm. So, so how much can I come out and say without still taking fucking shit? Because I took shit for that.
No, I know you did.
I can't, yes. Have I had dealings with Lori Simmons? Absolutely. Would I consider her a friend? I mean, as much as you can be a friend with somebody on fucking Facebook, yeah. But I don't believe in what she's fucking promoting. And I've said that to her, not just to everybody at large, but to her.
And very few people get that. There's a few out there. I mean, we had Claudia on the show, Ackley.
Mm-hmm.
She's doing that lawsuit and all that, and we told her we don't believe her, and she still agreed to come on the show because she understood that yes, there's people who have a different opinion than she does. That's what the whole big, and not promoting her at all, because I think what she's doing is frivolous, but at least she understands that there's two sides to a story. Most people in the Bigfoot community get one side, and their side is right, and everybody else is wrong. And it's not just a Bigfoot community. It's all these paranormal type things and Fortean type things. But I wish there were more people like Claudia who at least they think what they're doing is right, but they're at least willing to consider, people who have a differing opinion.
I think it's good to have discourse, whether you disagree with somebody or not. You should be willing to have honest discourse, and I'm willing to have that. And you've always been willing to have that, Steve. And as far as I know, Matt's always been willing to have that. And what I don't understand is how people can't understand that I can have a conversation with somebody that I disagree with.
Yeah, people just don't get that.
Yeah.
That you can. I know a Christian and an atheist, and they're best friends.
Yeah.
And it's because, they have what their disagreements are 180 from each other, total opposite, but that doesn't stop them from being friendly with each other. But in this community, for some reason, in the Bigfoot community and a lot of these other communities, it's unheard of. You
Well,
can't be friends with.
But are those two people actual friends in real life or just on the internet?
No, in real life.
Okay, well there you go. People on the internet don't respect one another.
True.
They don't respect other people's opinions or other people's arguments. I mean, that's how the world has become. It's all tied into social media. We don't deal with people face to face anymore. So we don't have to respect them. We don't have to, be responsible for what we say or do to other people anymore. And that has changed the game dramatically. Now it's a world of, well, you have to agree with me. And if you don't agree, you're wrong and you're the enemy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that happens way too much. I think too much of this it's us versus them mentality has infected everything. And it's not just Bigfoot and UFOs. It's everywhere.
Yep.
You're right, I'm wrong, you need to go away. You're the fucking problem. And rather than we all sit around and, talk about how to, fix these fucking problems, or we just bicker back and forth. And I don't know what the answer is. I just know that there's a big fucking problem.
Well, I mean, take for instance this latest Rick Dyer deal. As it unfolds between now and September, and then after September, there's going to be several people out there that will make this their full-time job to expose this guy and unravel his hoax and expose how he's doing it and point out all of his lies to everybody. But they won't spend 1 hour out in the woods looking for Bigfoot.
Yeah.
And I'll admit, I was that guy back in 2012. I mean, I was out looking sometimes, but for the most part, my entire job, my entire life was consumed by busting this guy, who everybody already knew was a hoaxer.
Mhm.
When I look back on it, what a colossal waste of my time to do that.
Well, that's the thing. Everybody spends all their time debating and arguing and getting pissed off and exposing everybody and defending everybody. And nobody's actually looking for the creature that they supposedly all believe in.
No, they're just trying to defend their research area or, promote something. It just gets, what's the word I'm looking for? It gets disheartening for the people that want to be in it.
Yeah.
I'll never forget when I went out to California. There was a gentleman, I will not name any names, but there was somebody trying to keep me from going to the Sierra Kill site because it was a quote unquote research area on public fucking land.
Yeah, I know, right? That's the thing that bothers me is, okay, this is public land. And even when Strufert and them went to Dr. Johnson's area, that's public land. It wasn't private land. Now, do I agree with that? Maybe, maybe not. It's no big deal. I don't care anymore. But so what? It's public land. Anybody has a right to go there. And 99.9% of the places that people call their Bigfoot research areas are public land. Anybody can go there. There's just no defending public land. It's public.
Yeah, it's not yours.
Yeah. But they get in their mind that I can't tell anybody where this is because they'll go look themselves and maybe expose my fallacies.
Or, in their corrupted mind, it's somebody else is going to go there and get video of a Bigfoot, and it's not going to be me.
Right.
And it just gets ridiculous, and I understand that people don't want, something tainted or whatever, but to say I don't want somebody at a place where people go all the time anyway, it's just, to me, it's ridiculous. And to go back to like the Stroyford thing about Johnson, I mean, it goes back to what we were saying before. They went out there, they found this spot, and what did it do? It didn't do anything.
No, it did shit. It made Johnson supporters support Johnson more, and people
what
hate
did it do? That's funny.
Yeah, what did it do? It didn't do anything.
Well, because the Bigfoot had already telepathically told Johnson that they were going to do that, so they had already moved location, so it didn't matter.
He had just not announced it yet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
good times.
But
But
yeah.
But this is one of those things where it's kind of like why we started doing this was because it just so many people just sit around and purport bullshit, and we wanted to take a realistic look and approach to this, and it's done me no favors. I mean, fucking none whatsoever. But at least I feel good about what I'm putting out there. That's my thing about it. But these things are just going to keep continuing to happen. They aren't going to go away.
It doesn't matter what we say about it, whether people follow us or don't follow us. It's not going to change anybody's opinion. The opinion you come in with is probably the opinion you're going to leave with.
Yeah,
you're going to support and group with whoever shares that opinion or the closest facsimile.
Right, and they're going to be adamant about it.
Yeah, and I mean, there are people who their opinion is going to change. There are those people out there.
Very few.
You're right. They're very few. For the most part, everybody's just going to get into their little tribe, and then they're going to be tribal.
And then what they do is stick only with that tribe. So I left this Facebook group because I didn't agree with them, and then they never go and look again. So they'll just stick in their little group of people who agree with them, and it makes them feel good. I mean, it's it. So they'll stick with those people and never hear the other side of the story because they don't want to. And when they happen to hear the other side of the story, they get all offended and upset and pissed off and start yelling at people. There are people out there who do watch both sides and still have the same opinion no matter what, but generally they stick. It's like going to church. You got Catholics, you got Protestants. I mean, it's all the same God, right? But their beliefs are so different.
Yeah,
it's the same thing.
Yeah, that again runs the gamut.
Yeah, I grew up in a church who believed that all Catholics were going to go to hell because they didn't believe the same way, and it's the truth. That's the way. I mean, because you believe
that's the truth of it. They're all going to hell, Steve.
Well, no, that's not what I said.
That's exactly what you said, Steve.
I said it's the truth of the situation, not the truth of Catholics are all going to hell. Sorry. Had to clear that out.
Yeah, and it's a sad state of affairs, really.
I suppose we're even guilty of it, though. I mean,
here we go.
Together, we hang out together, we talk, we have our certain opinions, and everybody else's opinions are not necessarily wrong, but we're not changing our minds anytime soon, right?
See, that's
I would change my mind with new information.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but it would have to be pretty solid information.
Well, yeah, because it's, excuse me, it's competing with the entire history of the earth and our written record and the science and our understanding of how everything works. I mean, if somebody can dispute that and show me proof, then yeah, I would change my mind.
Right.
But if you're just telling me a story and trying to tell me that you observed one of these creatures that I myself have seen personally and say it did something that doesn't line up with every other living thing on the planet, you're going to need to bring me some more proof than just your word. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, I completely agree. We need to have some type of proof. I'll believe that, these things are out there when I see something that shows me that they are.
Right.
But until then, I'm going to be very skeptical.
Hopeful, but skeptical.
Yeah, and I am hopeful. Who wouldn't want to hear tomorrow that they captured one or they shot one or whatever? Oh God, he said they shot one. Oh no, but we'd all love to have that culmination, that climax to the whole fucking thing. But
Max is good.
Oh Jesus Christ!
Well, my whole thing is I'm known as a flesh and blood guy. I back it 100%. What I observed was just another, creature that lines up with every other thing that, what we call mammals and primates.
Mm-hmm.
And that includes humans. That's what I observed. I didn't observe anything that seemed like magical or alien or anything like that. But the thing is, people get so caught up in my opinion on Bigfoot that they think that I'm just being closed-minded about it. When in fact, I got interested in Bigfoot because I was interested in the paranormal. My interest in the paranormal was because I grew up in a haunted house. I've seen numerous ghosts. I've had multiple haunted encounters. I've seen what I consider UFOs. I've seen just unexplainable things. I've seen things that it's not even anything in the books of what is supposed to exist. I've observed these things with my own two eyes. And I firmly believe that I was not hallucinating or, it wasn't a trick of light or anything like that. But Bigfoot, what I observed was a flesh and blood creature that is extremely intelligent and really good at keeping itself hidden from man. And that's it.
And that very well could be the case. I don't dispute that. And I tend to be a guy who thinks that they are more than likely just a flesh and blood creature in the woods.
Well, they'd have to be.
However, I have said as well that we don't really know. There's nothing out there that gives us all the facts. So, yes, can we make some speculations? Absolutely. But do we know everything for sure? No. And
it's going to be a long time before we do, if we ever do.
If we ever do, yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I had this conversation with Chris just recently. I don't go out in the field anymore. Whenever I was going out in the field, I reached a point that was as far as I could go without making it a full-time job and being fun somehow. So now, whatever answers I want about this, which, are endless, I want to understand. I want to know what it is that I saw. But that now relies on other people and what they're doing. And it's sad because I know that's never going to happen in my lifetime based on how things are now.
Not with the people who are actually
doing
it.
Like the people I'm depending on have no chance. They have absolutely no chance in all.
Yeah, and it's like I said, it's a sad state of affairs when we try. There's been many times that I've tried to have honest discourse with people in the community, for this show, and not even just for this show, but just in general. And so many times you just get the same old tired bullshit, and there's no real research going on. They claim there is, but have we seen anything? No. When
it comes down to brass tacks, though, and you ask them to show their research, what do they tell you?
Oh, it's coming.
To prove it, or it's either coming or we're not trying to prove it to anybody.
Right.
But yet you're putting this shit out on the internet all the time.
So, and it must be depressing being somebody like Matt who's seen it, and then he's dependent upon other people who are out there doing quote unquote research, which isn't really research. It's just sad. It's too bad.
Well, a good portion of the people doing the quote unquote research are barely, and I'm not going to be an ass when I say this because I'm barely high school educated, but barely high school educated people who are just out there. Well, you've done it. You've been out in the field with some of these people. They're just out there camping for the most part.
They're enthusiasts.
Campfire, that kind of shit. They're enthusiasts. None of them have scientific backgrounds. Very few. We've got Jeff Meldrum, who does have a scientific background, and I think he can be swayed. His opinion can be swayed sometimes. So, there's no real people who full time out there. There's no funded people who have any type of scientific background.
Right. Where are the field biologists at?
There's none.
Where are the professional trackers? Like those are the type of people we need in the community that are willing to say, okay, just for the sake of it, I'm going to say this thing does exist and is out there. What would I look for? And then they need to go look for it, and they will find it. It's that easy. I promise you.
It's there yet. They'll find it.
But do you see any of those people in these groups?
Well, no, because those people require payment.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you want to fund them for a few years, yeah, they would do it. Mm-hmm. But the problem is, I take that back. A lot of them probably wouldn't do it because they aren't willing to assume that it's out there to get the ball rolling,
mm-hmm.
and they don't want it to wreck their career afterwards.
Well, yeah, I talked about this with Phil actually, and it's a question of, do you want to put your reputation on the line for it? That's a big thing,
right?
Because we've talked about this before. Meldrum walks a pretty fine line. I mean, yes, he does step over it a little bit, but for the most part, he walks a pretty fine line when it comes to this subject because he has to.
But even Meldrum isn't out there weeks at a time researching this shit. He goes out there on a weekend, with Todd Standing or somebody, and has a weekend to look at it and collect data.
And it's weekend warrior research.
Yeah, even the best people we have out in the field are weekend warriors.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, we want people who are credible, who are accredited, but those people aren't going to go into the field because most of them don't want to be laughed at.
Well, that, and they have a lot of other important things that they're doing. Bigfoot is low on the list. Proving that this primate exists is very low on the list because the likelihood of it is fairly slim, in their mind anyway. Whether it's likely that, Matt's seen one, so obviously to him it's 100% real. And if Matt was a scientist, he'd be out there looking for it, with the scientific equipment and shit like that. And if
somebody was going to fund me, that's how scientists get funded, through grants and stuff.
Well, yeah, you can't just go out in the field and with no money. You have to have equipment. You have to have all this shit. And, we can buy a FLIR camera or whatever, but if we're only spending 12 hours or 14, 24 hours, whatever, out there, the likelihood of capturing an elusive creature is pretty slim.
Well, and the people that you do have out there who are funding people, or who were funding people, they were giving their money to fucking people who weren't doing anything.
Yeah.
Which we know has happened.
But they weren't giving it to real scientists. They were giving it to amateurs. They might as well give it to Rick Dyer,
But that's all they've ever really given it to, is to amateurs.
Right. Now, if those rich folk out there who were giving money to these people would have gave it to a real scientist, maybe something would have come of it. but they didn't. They chose to give it to people who aren't really scientists and really don't have the proper data collection methods and things like that.
If a wealthy person put together like a group of college grads that haven't started their careers yet, that were in the right fields, and said, here's a 5-year project I'm going to fund. Here's how much money I'm going to pay you. I think a lot could be accomplished.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't accomplished in 5 years, we'd have to look at this data that they collected and think to ourselves, maybe we're mistaken. You know?
Yeah, then we have a whole new mystery to solve. You know, why are there thousands of people every year seeing the same thing if it's not out there?
Right.
And it's a very strange thing. The whole research community. It's a very, like I was saying earlier, it's a very tribal thing. You know, people get into their little tribes and they fight amongst each other. And it'd be nice to see more cooperation and to see this actual scientific research, to see money actually being poured into the right places. And yeah, it'd be nice to know for sure. But as we've said many times, you can't prove a negative. Like, so if nothing's ever found, what are we going to know? You know, if something is found, we'll know something. But you just go in circles. And it just seems to me like everything's been going in circles for so long. With every once in a while, we get, oh, there's going to be big news. Oh, there's going to be more big news.
And it always turns out to be bullshit.
Yeah.
Always. I haven't seen one of these big news announcements that had any substance ever.
Yeah. And I'd love for it to happen, but at this point, I'm just jaded. You know, if somebody wants to prove me wrong, prove me wrong. Bring it on. I'll take a look at it. I'll give it, an honest opinion. But I mean, all I've seen is shit. That's it.
The best video we had was what, over 50 years ago. The best video. After all the time, these people out in the field, all the time that they spend in this hobby, because that's all it is at this point, can't come up with anything better than that.
Yeah.
And these are the people we're out there trusting to give us the answers. I mean, it's hilarious to me.
It's a joke.
That's because the majority of them think they know what they're doing when they actually don't.
No. And I'll be the first to admit now, at one time I thought, man, I could be good at this. I would suck. I suck. I do, because I don't know proper scientific collection methods, or I don't know how to interpret a bear print from a Bigfoot print, or what, that kind of thing. I have no idea what I'm doing when I go out there. I'm just going out there thinking I know what I'm doing.
But I've had so many conversations with other people about how a set of rules or guidelines or procedures needs to be established, and people need to agree to follow those procedures and do things the right way.
Good luck
to actually, get anything worth showing science. And the problem is, okay, but unless you're the one that gets to write the rules, they're not going to do it. Like there's just too much ego. Like, why should I follow your rules? I'll follow my own rules. There's no incentive for them, and they weren't in on it, so they don't want to do it. They want to be, the head honcho or whatever. And it's just, it's a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah. It's just like I said before, it's fucking tribal shit. You don't fit into my tribe, so therefore you're wrong. We've been dealing with it for ages with humanity. Nothing's changing.
And it's not going to anytime soon.
Yeah. And I think all of us would love to see something positive in the direction of research in this field, but the fact of the matter is we've been doing this show for almost, going on 6 years now, and I haven't seen a lick of it. I haven't seen a lick of real research. I'll tell you one thing. The one person I ever saw in the field trying to do scientific research now doesn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
He fucking bailed. And he was out there trying to show people how to do real scientific research and document everything, and it fell on deaf ears.
Well, and that's, I think, a lot of the problem why scientists wouldn't even touch this, because they realize that it's going to fall on deaf ears. It doesn't matter. The people who, there are still people, I don't care if you go out tomorrow and prove that Bigfoot is a flesh and blood animal. There's people out there who are still going to give it psychic abilities and cloaking and all that bullshit because they've been believing that for years. So even if it was proven tomorrow, I still think you'd have the same bullshit going on.
Oh yeah,
scientists know that shit.
Yeah, it's an argument that's probably going to go on for a long time. It's too bad. It really is. It's too bad because you have a lot of people who are really enthusiastic about it, who want to know. And then you've got a lot of people who just blindly follow and believe. And
I think the follow and believe outweighs the people who truly want to know.
Oh yeah,
at least at this point.
And I don't know that we're ever gonna have the proof or the the ending that we want to this. I just don't know that we are. I wish we would. And it's
like Matt said, I don't think it's going to happen in our lifetime, unfortunately.
No, I agree. I think that it's just been carried on for so long now, and it's more of a popularity contest than it is about research.
Well, that's what I said about going to Bigfoot conferences, and that was the reason I chose not to. I went to one Bigfoot event. And it was because I had some friends and I wanted to meet them, and that was it. But most of them, that's all they are, is popularity contests.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And most conferences in any area of study or whatever, that's all they are, is popularity contests. And I'm not about that shit. I just want to know does this exist or does it not exist? That's it.
And we know from personal experience that there are people out there who are just looking for fame. It is indicative of a lot of the people in these communities. They want to make money, and I'm not against that.
No, but like Rick Dyer is the only person out there who's ever said, I'm doing this to make money. The rest of them,
I'm not against people trying to make money. I'm not. And I'm not against people, believing in this and having a passion for it. And then making money off. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. I have a problem with bullshit and with deception. And I think that there's a lot of it. But, hey, to each their own, I guess, in this aspect. I hate to say it, but what really are any of us doing by calling out any of these people? Keep calling them out. I mean, I'm not going to stop. But I just question what it really accomplishes in the end.
Well, if I were going back out in the field, I can tell you now, I would be one of those people that is going out there without the intentions of proving it to anyone. I don't think I should have to. I would want to learn what I can learn, and that would be good enough for me. Would I like to see this thing proven to the world? Yes, of course I would. But then sometimes I even struggle with that because, our history as a race is we just screw things up once they're proven.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously I'm part of a controversial group who make a lot of claims that don't back their claims with any sort of proof. And we do take a lot of flack for that. But at the same time, we also tell people, hey, okay, well, here's what you can do. You can take the information that we're freely sharing that other people won't share, and you can go out into the woods and apply that information and just see for yourself if it works or not. Yeah. But people don't do that. They just sit there and tell you you're full of shit because other people say so, or other people do it this way, or whatever.
Well, there's tons and tons of armchair researchers. They are all over the community. And I think that's another problem that it has, is that you have a lot of these people who have never gone out, never probably will go out, but are going to question and criticize everyone who brings something to the table.
Well, they just want you to do all the work for them.
Yeah.
And some people don't agree with that and refuse to do it. I mean, I've seen pictures that in my mind were pretty remarkable that have never seen the light of day. And I guess never will. I mean, they're not my pictures. I would share them. And these pictures, I'm not talking about the Bigfoot outlaws. I'm talking about big Pacific Northwest people who are famous and in all the documentaries and stuff have these photos and won't share them.
Yeah. And I think that's a problem too, is you run into people who have stuff that could be considered, groundbreaking, but because they're going to get torn apart for it, they're not going to fucking bring it out.
Yeah.
I had one of the cast members of Finding Bigfoot show me a picture one time that was pretty remarkable. It still hasn't seen the light of day. Still hasn't. And it's because...
Would that be the fabled cell phone picture?
I don't recall. I believe it was, yeah.
Well, was it shown to you on a cell phone?
Yes.
Then yes.
Well, he was showing it on his cell phone.
Right. But I'm just saying, that's my way of validating what you're saying, that I too know of this picture.
Yeah.
And you're right. No, it hasn't ever been shown publicly and probably never will.
And why is that? Well, it doesn't prove anything. No matter how remarkable the picture is, it's still not going to, it's just a picture.
Right.
And whatever the story is behind it is just a story. Without scientific proof to back it up, it's just a story and a picture.
Yeah. And until there's a fucking documentary that comes out that's called fucking Bigfoot, and it actually documents the Bigfoot in the wild, we're getting shit. We're not getting anything that's of any substance. There's no camera crews going out and filming a family of Bigfoot somewhere right now. It's just not happening. If it was happening, we'd know about it.
We may not.
What's that?
We may not know about it at this point. We may not know about it until they feel that...
And that is true too, but I think if something like that came out, people can't keep shit for nothing.
Science doesn't piecemeal shit out. They try not to. They try to get it all in one nice little package.
Well,
yes and no. People are people, Steve.
Yeah, but if me from Tulsa, Oklahoma, can hook up on the internet with a group of people from around the country, go out into the woods, and actually have a sighting, come on. Of course the government knows about it. Of course the government have observed these things. There's numerous stories, which are just stories, about military operations involving these creatures.
Yeah.
Obviously, if somebody can see a UFO in the sky, you're trying to tell me that no government radar has ever picked them up if they're actually there?
Of course they have.
I would say, yeah, there could be some, they could have a Bigfoot locked up in a cage somewhere in a bunker. We'll never know about it until they're ready to tell us about it.
There are instances where that type of thing would happen, but I think for the most part, I think if somebody had found one of these things, we'd know about it. I think by and large we would. Not necessarily like you were saying, Matt. If it's a government agency, if they're trying to keep it under wraps, yeah, that's a little different. But I think if it was just people found this thing, we'd know. People can't keep their mouths shut for nothing. So, I mean, I think it's a debate that's going to go on for a long time because I don't think anything's going to come out to prove anything to anyone. I wish it would.
Well, if you wait till September 6th.
Oh,
yeah, just hang in there.
It's all going to be revealed. Something's going to be revealed.
I really can't wait.
I just hope when that day hits, it's just a video of him unzipping his pants.
That I can wait for.
I just, because what the fuck?
I've said it a long time ago, and I'll say it again. And since you said unzipping his pants, the Bigfoot community at this time is just a big dick contest, and that's it. Yeah. I have a bigger dick than you do.
Yeah,
and you should follow me because mine hangs to my feet. Whatever. That's all it is.
I'm biting my tongue on that.
On that note, Steve, you got any news tonight?
Yeah, speaking about big dicks, the Pope.
The Pope.
Yeah.
What a segue.
Hey, listen, and not exactly the most Fortean story of the night, but it is about religion, and this one just made me chuckle. So,
and I'm not calling the Pope a dick. I'm calling some of the priests dicks. Pope admits clerical abuse of nuns, including, but not limited to, sexual slavery. That sounds fun. Pope Francis has admitted that clerics have sexually abused nuns, and in one case, they were kept as sex slaves. He said that the case, his predecessor, Pope Benedict, was Pope Benedict, was forced to shut down an entire congregation of nuns who were being abused by priests. It is thought to be the first time that Pope Francis has acknowledged the sexual abuse of nuns by the clergy. He said the church was attempting to address the problem, but said it was still going on.
But said we were still kind of worried about the kid touchers.
Last November, the Catholic Church's global organization for nuns denounced the culture of silence and secrecy that prevented them from speaking out. The Pope's comments come amid a long-running cases of sexual abuse of children and young men by priests at the church.
Yeah.
Fun times.
And then they were like, well, shit, they were actually doing it with adults, so we kind of wanted to let this one slide.
Is this like the church's version of the Me Too movement?
I don't fucking know.
And I have nothing against Catholics, even though I said something about them earlier.
You said they were all going to burn in hell.
Yeah, Steve.
Well, that backs it. No. But when you take the ability to have sexual relations away from somebody, they're going to find a way to have sexual relations. It's just human nature. And I think that's where the church went wrong. I realize they're supposed to be married to God or whatever it is, but
I don't know, Steve. On Game of Thrones, this one guy had his ability for sexual relations taken away, and it did a pretty good job.
Well, if you're going to do that, you kind of have to. I'm assuming castration was the method, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, that would be the only way to do it.
Well, if you want to devote your life to God, maybe you should.
That's right.
If you're gonna go down that path,
I'm just
go all the way.
If you remove that ability from a able-bodied human, they're going to find a way to.
You heard it here first. Steve Alcorns thinks all priests should be castrated.
I did not say that. That is not what I said.
Oh, okay.
Moving right along, the Washington Post. This time they did not quote Matt Knapp, but they should have. Harvard's top astronomer says an alien ship may be among us. and he doesn't care what his colleagues think. See, we got scientists who are interested.
Steve, if a scientist believes we have an alien ship, it's got to be ancient aliens.
Before he started the whole alien spaceship thing last year, the chairman of Harvard University's astronomy department was known for public lectures on modesty, personal modesty, with Avi Loeb said he learned
Something?
Yeah, something. He learned growing up on a farm. That's what it is. And what Loeb calls cosmic modesty, the idea that it's arrogant to assume we are alone in the universe or even particularly special. You can find a poster for one of these lectures in Loeb's office today, though it is a bit lost among the clutter. I like a cluttered mind. Photos of Loeb posing under the dome of Harvard's enormous 19th century telescope. Thank you notes from elementary school children. A framed who cares?
Why are they reporting on what's hanging in his office?
I know, right? Well, they did quote Matt Knapp, so what else are they going to do? I mean, they've already.
Okay.
Loeb stands beside his desk on the first morning of spring. Courses. Yeah. Where did they get to the meat of this story?
I don't know. You could always look it over before the show. You had like a half an hour.
I was working.
Oh.
I have a job.
Oh.
I mean, I work from home and I do it whenever I feel like it, but I was working at the time. To look at alien spaceship stories. Since publishing his controversial paper, Loeb has run a nearly nonstop media circuit, embracing the celebrity that comes from being, from being perhaps the most academic, the distinguished ET enthusiast of his time. The top Harvard astronomer who suspects technology from another solar system just showed up at our door, and this in turn had left some of his peer nonplussed, whatever that means. I don't even know what that word means. Grumbling at what they see as a flimsy theory, or bewildered as to why Harvard's top astronomer won't shut up about aliens. What did he find? That's what I want.
Because it's aliens.
Oh, it's that Sumama thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Considering the artificial origin, one possibility is Aumumama. Is that how that's pronounced?
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know, but it's pronounced origin.
Yeah.
They give me the pronunciation right here. Pronounced Oumuamua. Oumuamua is a light sail floating in interstellar space as debris from an advanced technological equipment, according to Loeb. He wrote that to his colleague Shmuel Bayali in Astrophysical Journal Letters, or wrote with his colleague. Thrilling ET enthusiast and upsetting the fragile orbits of space academia. Loeb believes that Aumumama is not an alien spaceship. Oh no, he believes it is, but his colleagues believe it's not. Paul M. Sutter says it's a bunch of bullshit.
They think it's just a big turd.
Like he's the fucking fruit ninja, doesn't he?
Pretty much.
I don't know.
It's a fucking hack and slash moment.
6 pages long, but Loeb believes that this thing is of alien origin. Sutter believes
or origin.
The whole thing.
Cool.
Hey, I am from Northeast Ohio, and that's how we pronounce origin. Origin.
I don't believe that.
I don't either.
That's how I pronounce it.
I think he's much like Madonna, who like visited England and then came back with an accent.
So what's I mean, that's mama thing. Is it the alien origin or not? Origin. Excuse me.
I don't know.
We don't know, Steve. We're not in outer space.
I'm not an astronomer.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's intriguing. What is it?
It looks like a big turd.
Yeah, it's like a giant rock.
It's aliens, Steve.
Moving right along, WGNTV.com. Witness recall seeing Bigfoot in Utah. We've touched on this story before, but now we've got an update. Experts are not buying it.
No?
No.
Ah.
Real experts this time, by the way.
Damn it.
Whether Bigfoot is real or not is more of a question of faith than science. I think we've said that. The latest Provo, Utah sighting, the incident happened earlier this month, and we've touched on it, like I said. Seriously, look how big it is. I don't think it's human. I think it's Sasquatch, a Provo man said. It was a clear January morning in the foothills of northeast Provo when a group of guys saw a figure on the mountain that looked like something they've never seen before. You can't just see something that's maybe a once-in-a-century discovery and go to your 9-to-5 job. You've got to go look for fur or footprints or some kind of evidence, Austin Craig, who captured the moment on video, said. The camera was rolling as Austin took to the mountain with a buddy on a search for the elusive Bigfoot. That is exactly where I saw the Sasquatch, and you guys put together aren't even as close to as tall. This is how it's written in the article.
Wow.
As wide or as tall as it was, the Provo man in the video said. Their findings were, of course, inconclusive.
It's always inconclusive, Steve.
The experts now said, what's the likelihood that there are big animals that have gone undetected by scientists and trained observers? That's according to Dr. Eric Reichart, curator of the vertebrate zoology. Why
Use your words. Use your words.
Why do you make me do this every week?
Sound it out, Steve.
Yeah. Hooked on phonics worked for me, Steve.
Well, it didn't work for me. Curator of vertebrate zoology at Utah's Museum of Natural History. Reichart has spent much of his career exploring places people have never gone before in search of new species. So far, he has yet to encounter a Bigfoot or anything like it.
How often has he gone out looking for a Bigfoot, though?
Well, I don't know. It doesn't say.
I mean, you're not going to find them when you're looking for caterpillars in the South American rainforest.
There you go.
Just saying.
Maybe there's giant Bigfoot caterpillars in the South.
I'm just saying. Whenever you hear the phrase, there's no experts in the Bigfoot field, like to the point where it's nauseating. But that applies to everybody, not just the people in the Bigfoot world.
Mm-hmm.
Except for me, of course. I am an expert.
3-time published.
And psychic.
Yes.
So Reichart believes there isn't anything, but somebody who believes there is something, Kelly Shaw, a representative from the Rocky Mountain Sasquatch.
Oh, Jesus.
said they headed up the same mountain 2 days after they saw the video.
And it was definitely a Bigfoot.
Their findings were also inconclusive, as they always are.
You didn't want to go out on a limb on that one?
That gentleman, no matter how badly I did it, is today's news.
Oh, thank you, Steve.
Pre-read. I know I've said it many times, but I got to pre-read the stories, and I just don't have time to do that shit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wish they're having sex with modest astronomers in Utah.
That's the news. On that note, this has been the Fortean Slip, episode 64, Bigfoot Hoaxer Returns. If you like this shit, hit the little thumbs up button. If you don't, hit the little thumbs down button. Leave a comment. Subscribe. Check out Matt Knapp at youtube.com/bigfootcrossroads and Cryptid Tales. Check out Richard's comic strip and blog. The Ramblings of a Schizophrenic Brit is his blog. Bigfootin' with Keith and Colin on Facebook is the comic strip. And also check out his Squatchable podcast, which is on Phil Pooling's Parabreakdown YouTube channel at youtube.com/Parabreakdown. And last but not least, as always, go check out our good friend Dred Funn at dredfunn.com and youtube.com/Dred Funn. We'll be back next week with another scintillating topic for you to enjoy. Until then, see ya!